Goes back in the chair and I recognize a gentleman from New York, Congressman Pat Ryan. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you both for being here. We have all worn the uniform. We've all served in combat. We all love our country. We all revere our troops. And I really want to speak with you both, not as partisans but as patriots. That's how it began. A moment in Congress that cut through the noise. Ryan wasn't there for a political spectacle. He was there to defend a core American principle that our military serves the Constitution, not a political party or a single man.
Back chair, and I recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you both for being here. We have all worn the uniform. We've all served in combat. We all love our country. We all revere our troops. And I really want to speak with you both, not as partisans, but as patriots. And I want to talk specifically about the events at Fort Bragg the other day. General Kane, I want to start with you. As a junior officer, were you ever required to make a pledge of political loyalty? Yes or no?
Sir, as you know, we're an apolitical military, so, no.
Thank you. At any time in your 30-plus years of incredibly distinguished service, did you have to make a pledge of partisan or political loyalty?
No, sir.
Thank you. Did you ever serve in any unit or command at any level where service members were required to make a pledge of political loyalty?
No, sir.
Thank you. And I want to commend you. You've been on the record on this, including in your confirmation hearings where you clarified, quote, "I've never worn any political merchandise or said anything to that effect." I appreciate that. That is the standard, and I commend you for saying so and continuing to model that. General Kane, one last question for you. Should soldiers have to pledge political loyalty to participate in an event with our commander-in-chief? Yes or no, please.
Sir, I'm not. First, no. I'm not aware of any time in history that soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines have been asked to do that. I think.
And I'm sorry, General. I do want to, just in the interest of time, I want to talk about what happened at Fort Bragg 2 days ago. There was guidance put out, and this has been verified by multiple independent news outlets, saying, quote, these are to the soldiers of the 18th Airborne Corps and the U.S. Army. If soldiers have political views that are in opposition to the current administration, then they need to speak with their leadership and get swapped out. This is swapped out of the event with the president. In addition, in an incredibly disturbing incident, there was a pop-up shop selling MAGA merchandise on post at Fort Bragg. And to summarize this, there was a commander from Bragg who said on the record, quote, "This has been a bad week for the Army, for anyone who cares about us being a neutral institution. This was shameful." If those are the facts, and I know the Army is investigating at least the MAGA pop-up shop, is that appropriate, General Kane?
Sir, I haven't seen any of these reports. I'm not familiar with them, but as I mentioned earlier and in my confirmation hearing, the nation demands a political, nonpartisan military.
I appreciate you saying that and happy to share those reports. Secretary Hegseth, are you familiar with DoD Directive 1344.10? Political activities of the members of the armed forces?
Well, first off, I don't buy into your
yes or no?
insinuation
Are you familiar
that pledges
with,
are being done under this administration. That's
I reclaim my
insinuation.
time. Are you familiar with this DoD directive?
There's never one time in my service or in this
Mr.
Defense
Secretary,
Department.
will you please answer
I'm answering your
these
question
questions?
where politics has been considered for service members.
Are you familiar with this directive? Yes or no?
Which directive?
DoD Directive 1344.10. I'm happy to provide you a copy. There's even a one-page red and green cheat sheet. Are you familiar with it? This is the same directive from when we were all in uniform.
I'm sure I am.
Has anything changed in that directive under your guidance, given what happened 2 days ago at Fort Bragg? Is there a new policy change that we're not aware of?
Again, I totally reject your insinuation.
Is there a policy change to DoD Directive 1344.10?
I know what you're attempting to insinuate, but there's
I'll
been no
take that as a
policy
no.
change and there is no policy.
Mr. Secretary, have you ever worn a MAGA hat in front of the troops?
I own plenty of MAGA hats, but I don't.
Have you ever worn one in front of the troops at an official event? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Do you think it's appropriate for the President of the United States to wear political merchandise, including a MAGA hat, at official events, including West Point commencement?
The Commander-in-Chief
Yes or no?
can wear whatever hat he wants, to include the phrase, "Make America Great Again," because I would like to make America great again as well.
So you think that's appropriate?
The Commander-in-Chief has the right, in front of his troops, to wear whatever he'd like.
Okay, I strongly disagree with you. And I urge you both, especially you, General Kane, as we see an increasingly political rhetoric, including from the Secretary, to please, for the good of our troops, this is an incredibly difficult moment, and we need leaders like you to continue to echo the apolitical nature. I have 12 seconds. Mr. Secretary, I don't say this lightly. I have to say this on the record. I think your tenure as Secretary of Defense has been shameful and weak, and you should resign. I yield back.
Gentlemen.
And he zeroed in on the shocking events at Fort Bragg. Ryan turned to General Kane, a veteran of more than 3 decades. As a junior officer, Ryan asked, "Were you ever required to make a pledge of political loyalty?" "No, sir." "In your 30-plus years of service, did you ever have to pledge partisan loyalty?" "Again, no, sir." "And had he ever served in any unit where soldiers were required to pledge loyalty to a political figure?" "No, sir." Ryan commended Kane for his record, never wearing political merchandise, never blurring the line between service and partisanship. This was the standard. This was the model. But what happened at Fort Bragg was a political gut punch. Multiple independent reports confirmed it. Soldiers of the 18th Airborne Corps were told that if they had political views opposed to the current administration, they needed to speak to leadership and get swapped out of an event with the president. Even worse, a pop-up shop selling MAGA merchandise appeared on base. For anyone who cares about an apolitical military, this wasn't just wrong. It was shameful. One commander at Bragg said it plainly, "This has been a bad week for the Army, for anyone who cares about us being a neutral institution." And in that moment, Ryan drew a bright red line. Military service is about defending the Constitution, not pledging loyalty to a political figure. He asked General Kane the critical question, should soldiers have to pledge political loyalty to participate in an event with our Commander-in-Chief? Kane didn't hesitate. "No, sir. I am not aware of any time in history that soldiers, sailors, airmen, or Marines have been asked to do that." This was the military's moral compass trying to reset itself. A refusal to allow creeping authoritarianism to take root in uniform. Then Ryan turned his fire on Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. And it wasn't polite. "Secretary Hegseth, are you familiar with DoD Directive 1344.10, political activities of members of the armed forces?" The question was simple. The answer should have been simple. But Hegseth dodged, deflected, and tried to spin. Ryan pressed harder. "Has anything changed in that directive under your guidance, given what happened 2 days ago at Fort Bragg? Is there a new policy we're not aware of?" Hegseth rejected the insinuation, claiming politics has never been a consideration for service members. But the facts told a different story. Ryan went further. "Mr. Secretary, have you ever worn a MAGA hat in front of the troops at an official event?" Hegseth admitted he owned plenty, but said he didn't believe he had worn one at official events. Ryan then asked the question that crystallized the issue. "Do you think it is appropriate for the President of the United States to wear political merchandise, including a MAGA hat at official events like the West Point commencement?" Hegseth's answer, that the Commander-in-Chief can wear whatever he wants. He even added, "I would like to make America great again as well." This wasn't just tone deaf. It was a defense of partisanship bleeding into the armed forces. Because the truth is this, DoD Directive 1344.10 exists for a reason. It's there to preserve the neutrality of the military. It's there to ensure soldiers don't become political props. It's there to prevent our republic from sliding into a system where loyalty to a leader replaces loyalty to the law. Ryan didn't buy the excuses. He laid it out clearly. Fort Bragg was a disgrace. Political loyalty pledges, MAGA pop-ups, and the blurring of lines between soldier and surrogate are not just embarrassing, they are dangerous. And he didn't hold back on the consequences. With just seconds left in his time, Pat Ryan delivered the blow. "Mr. Secretary, I don't say this lightly. I have to say this on the record. I think your tenure as Secretary of Defense has been shameful and weak, and you should resign." The air shifted in that hearing room. This wasn't partisan theater. This was a battle cry for accountability. Because weakness, in this context, isn't about strength on the battlefield. It's about moral cowardice. It's about allowing partisan influence to seep into the ranks. It's about failing to defend the Constitution when it matters most. Ryan's call for resignation was more than a headline moment. It was a warning shot for anyone willing to trade military neutrality for political favor. Because when loyalty to a party begins to outweigh loyalty to the Constitution, the very foundation of our democracy starts to crack. This is why moments like this matter. Our military was designed to be above politics. And if the people at the top can't protect that principle, then the risk to our republic is real. So what do you think? Should political loyalty ever have a place in the U.S. military? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this breakdown important, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the next one is even more controversial.